Hello everyone. So in this video, I am going to discuss again very common concept, that is how to calculate the number of squares and rectangles on a chessboard. 64 number of squares is not correct answer because that is only 1 cross 1 square. So we will see how to calculate the number of squares and rectangles on a any chessboard of dimension 8 cross 8 we are considering. I will give you the total in general formula for that also. Okay, and this is not important. This is not only important for IIT JEE. It is important for all the competitive exams. It can be CAT also, MBIG exams also, GRE, GMAT, because this is again very common question here, right? Very common concept. So let's start. The question is, we have a standard 8 cross 8 chessboard. We have to calculate the number of squares and we have to calculate the number of rectangles. Okay, so let's first understand how to calculate the number of rectangles. Okay, now see, if you have to calculate the number of rectangles, for any rectangle, you can see I require 2 vertical line and 2 horizontal line. I can have this rectangle. This will be the rectangle, correct? Let's say if I name this is first line, this is first horizontal line, this is the first horizontal line, second, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is the last horizontal line, 9. This is similarly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. These are 9 vertical lines. You can see this grid is made up of 9 vertical lines and 9 horizontal lines. Now let's say if I want to form any rectangle, you can see, let's say if I select this row, this vertical line, for example, I selected this vertical line. And for example, I selected this vertical. I can select any 2 vertical lines. Let's say I selected this. And I select 2 horizontal lines. Let's say I selected this horizontal line. Similarly, I selected, let's say, this horizontal line. So you can see by using these 2 vertical lines and these 2 horizontal lines, I can make a square. This will be the square made up of this, right? Which has the dimension, you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 cross 1. This is the rectangle dimension, you can say, right? I can actually take any combination. For example, if I take these 2 vertical lines and I took this second horizontal line, and let's say I took this 6th horizontal line. So what is the rectangle you can see here? What is the rectangle you can see? You can see here, this is the rectangle formed. This is the rectangle formed. What is the dimension? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 cross 4. You can see 4 cross 4 is also a rectangle because this is a square and all the squares are rectangle. So in the first case, what we are doing is we are finding the rectangles. So here we will consider the cases of squares also because all the squares are rectangles. So again, now you have understood this idea that for any square, for any rectangle, you have to just select 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines. So total number of rectangles will be what? In how many ways I can select 2 vertical lines? Out of these, and I want to select, out of these 9 vertical lines, in how many ways I can select 2 vertical lines? 9 C2 ways. Similarly, in how many ways I can select 2 horizontal lines? This is 9 C2. We have to select both vertical lines and horizontal line to get the rectangle. Now what is this? This is 9 factorial divided by 7 factorial, 2 factorial, whole square. This you can check this. This is 9 into 8 divided by 2 whole square. So what is this? This is 36 square, which you can check. This is 1296. So total number of rectangles is very easy. This is how we can calculate the number of rectangles. Now, if I want to generalize this, if you have, let's say, n cross n chessboard, or you can say n cross n grid, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. So this is 8 cross 8. Similarly, if I have n cross n boxes, you can see. So how many lines will be there? There will be number of rectangles will be. How many vertical lines will be there? N plus 1 vertical lines. And how many horizontal lines will be there? N plus 1 horizontal lines. You can see here we have 8 cross 8. How many vertical lines? We have 9 vertical lines. Similarly, 9 horizontal lines. So what is this? This is n plus 1 C2 whole square. Total number of rectangles. You can see exactly same thing. If I simplify this, this is, you can see, n plus 1 factorial divide by n minus 1 factorial 2 factorial whole square. So if I simplify this, this is n plus 1 into n by 2 whole square. You can check if I apply the same thing here. If I put n ka value 8, so this is 8 into 9 by 2 whole square. So total number of rectangles for n cross n will be n into n plus 1 by 2 whole square. So I hope this is clear how to calculate the number of rectangles. This part is easy. Now we will come to the question that how will you calculate specifically the squares? How will you calculate the squares? Now again, logically speaking, what we are doing is, for squares, the side length should be equal. For a square, side length should be equal. For example, if I want to calculate any square, this is one square, you can see, which is having 2 units. I'm saying this is 1 unit, 1 box. This is 2 unit, 2 unit. Correct? This is 1 square. I can have a 3 cross 3 square. I can see I can have a 3 cross 3 square. 3 cross 3 square, what is the meaning of this? We have, this is made up of 3 units here and 3 units here. Now, we will calculate how many possible combinations are there. For example, how many 1 cross 1 squares are there? How many 1 cross 1 squares are there? How many 2 cross 2 squares are there? What is the meaning of 2 cross 2 square? That means the side length will be 2 unit cross 2 unit. Similarly, so on. What can be the maximum side length? You can see I can have 8 cross 8 side length. You can see 8 maximum, 8 maximum. Right? Now see, how will you calculate the number of squares which are of 1 cross 1? By looking at this, you know this answer. This is 8 into 8. That is 64. We know this answer. But how to reach mathematically, you see here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let's say this is one horizontal line, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I have given the names of vertical lines and horizontal lines. Now see, if you have to make any 1 cross 1, then you have to select two vertical lines such that the gap between them is of 1 unit. So in how many ways I can select? I can select 1 and 2, line number 1 and line number 2, so that this length will be equal to 1 unit. Or I can select 2 and 3, and so on. I can select 8, 9. So in how many ways I can select 2 vertical lines? You can see in 8 ways. You can see 8 ways. So total number of ways of selection of vertical lines is 8. By exactly same logic, how many ways of selection of horizontal lines? Again, 8 ways. So this is how you reach to 8 cross 8. Now, if you have understood, you can easily answer this second part. I want to make squares of units 2 cross 2. Now, if you have to make the square of unit 2 cross 2, you have to select 2 lines. So let's say 2 vertical lines with a gap of 2 units. You can see with a gap of 2 units. So in how many ways I can select 2 vertical lines with a gap of 2 units? So you can see I can select 1, 3. This can be one combination, 1 and 3. Similarly, I can have 2, 4. You can see 2, 4, 2, 4. This is another gap. So on. Similarly, 3, 5, and so on. What can be the last possible combination I have? 7, 9. I can select 7 and 9 so that the distance between them, the side length will be 2 units. So how many such combinations we have? We have, in how many ways you can select 2 vertical lines? 1, 2, 3, and so on, 7 ways. So in how many ways you have selected 2 vertical lines so that the gap between them is of 2 units? That is 7 ways. And same logic for horizontal lines. So this is again 7 ways. And so on. If I just go to the last, now you have understood the pattern. I want to select 8 cross 8. So the only possible combination will be what? This is the line number 1, and I'll select line number 9. So that is only one combination, 1, 9. Similarly, for this horizontal, we have line number 9 and line number 1. So how many ways? Only 1 cross 1. And this we know. Only 1 square of side length 8 unit. That is the largest square we have. So total number of ways will be what? Total number of squares. This is total number of squares. This is side length or unit, you can say, right? Dimensions, you can say. So what is this? This is 1 square plus 2 square plus 8 square. This is the total number of squares which we have in this grid, right, of 8 cross 8. So what is this value? If you know the formula, you have this is n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1, that is 16 plus 1, 17 by 6. If you just check this, you will find this is 204. So total number of squares will be equal to 204 here, right? So this is how we calculate the number of rectangles and number of squares. Now, if the question would be find the rectangles which are not squares, find the rectangles which are not squares, then what will be the answer? Earlier it was 1296, out of which we have 204 squares. So that will be 1296 minus 204 will be the total number of rectangles which are not square on this rectangle. And if you want to generalize this, if you have an n cross n grid, then total number of squares will be 1 square plus 2 square plus n square. So I can write this formula: 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square, so on, plus n square. This will be the total number of squares, in on a chessboard, right? N ka value, it can be like 100 if you have a grid of 8 cross 100 cross 100, right? So I hope this is clear how to get the number of squares and number of rectangles on a grid, right? Now, if you have understood this, let's take one very interesting question. Again, this is just a modification of the concept which we have just done. In this particular question, this question was asked in JEE Advanced. The question was a rectangle with side length 2m minus 1 and 2n minus units is divided into squares of unit length. Okay, so I have just drawn a grid here. These are all squares. It's not looking like a square, but you can consider this is a square, this is a square, this is a square, and so on, right? So the question is a rectangle with side 2m minus 1. This is side length 2m minus 1. This is, let's say, the side length 2n minus 1. The side length of this is 2n minus 1. Now I have divided this grid into units. We have divided this into squares of unit length. So these are square units, 1 length. This is 1 unit, 1 unit. This is 1 unit, this is 1 unit, and so on, 1, 1, and so on. 1 unit, that is, this we are considering 1 unit, and so on, right? Now, you can see the diagram. Then the number of rectangles possible with odd side length is. Now you have to calculate the number of rectangles here which have odd side length. Now, what is the meaning of odd side length? For example, if I have odd side length, that is, I can have a rectangle of 3 cross 5. Odd side length. I cannot have a rectangle of side length of dimension 3 cross 2 because this is not a odd side length. You can see, right? So total number of you can see rectangles which are possible in this, which we have to find. So you can try this question. You can think about this. You can pause. So I'll just start with the discussion on this question. See, all these have 1 unit. Okay, this is similar to what we have done in the previous case. Let's name these lines again: vertical lines and horizontal lines. So just for simplicity, let's say this is 0 side length. This line number I am putting 0. This is line number 1. This is line number 2, 3, 4. So what is the side length? You can see here. This is 1. From this to this, total 2. From this to this is 3. From this to this, we have 4 units. So what will be the last line? This will be the last line, which is 2n minus 1th line. You can see if I continue with the lines, this is 5 and so on. This will be the line number 2n minus 1, right? No, because total length should be equal to 2n minus 1. Similarly, if I take the same thing here, this is line number 0. This is line number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. This will be the line number 2n minus 1. 2m minus 1, sorry. This is m minus 1. This is n minus 1. I hope this is clear. This total you can see. This is 2m minus 1 length. This is 2n minus 1 length. This is right. Now we have to form the rectangles of odd length. For any rectangle, what we require is we require 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines. Now you can see here, I have some lines which are evenly named 0, 2, 4, 6, and so on. And similarly, how we have some vertical lines which are named 1, 3, 5, and so on. Now just observe here, if I take any two lines with even number, for example, if I take 0 and 2, I'm just talking about vertical lines, say exactly same thing will happen for horizontal line also, right? If I take even numbered line, the gap between them will always be even. You can see here, I can take 0, 2. Gap will be, that means the side length will be, the gap will be 2, that means side length will be 2 units. If I take, for example, if I take examples 2 and 4, you can see again side length 2 units. If I take, for example, 0 and 4, you can see this is 1, 2, 3, and 4 unit. That is even number. I don't want even numbered side length. Similarly, exactly same thing you can say for odd number also. For example, if I take 2 odd numbered line, for example, if I take 1 and 3, the gap between them will always be even. You can see, for example, if I take 1 and 5, what is the side length? If I take 1 and 5, 1 number line and 5 number line, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sided, that is rectangle, that is even unit, you can say. So you can see here, if I want any odd side length for vertical case, I have to select two lines. One has to be from this case and other has to be from this case. That is, I have to select one even numbered line and one odd numbered line. So in how many ways I can select one even numbered line? Total how many lines we have? 2n lines. From 0 to 2n minus 1. We have total 2n lines. Correct? 2n vertical lines. Out of these 2n vertical lines, we have n horizontal line and m vertical lines. Correct? So now see, if you have n horizontal, my mistake, n even numbered line and odd numbered line, right? So out of n even numbered line, you have to select one line. Out of these n odd numbered line, I have to select one line. In how many ways you can select nc1 into nc1? Total number of ways of selection of one even numbered line and one odd numbered line is nc1 into nc1. Similarly, exactly same thing, you can count on horizontal line. How many horizontal lines we have? 2m. For odd length, I have to select either one line from odd number, one line from even number. So how many even number line we have? M. How many odd number line we have? M horizontal lines. So this is mc1 into mc1. So what is the total number of ways of selection of possible rectangles with odd side length? nc1 as n, mc1 is m. So this is mn whole square. This is m into n whole square. So this is the idea to solve this question. There can be some other method also. This is the easiest method which I think, right? So you can just check this, how we have got odd numbered line and even numbered line. Okay. So what is the answer? This is m square and n square. That is option C. 3 is the answer. So I hope you have understood how to calculate the number of rectangles and squares in a grid. And if you have some other conditions, you have to just modify something for solving. So I hope you have enjoyed this concept. If you have liked this concept and you want me to make such more videos, please do like and subscribe. It will encourage me to make such videos. Okay. So that's it for now. Thank you.